The Green Bay Packers were left for dead earlier this season, but they are currently on a 3-game winning streak, which has given them life. Heading into week 13, the Packers were 4-8 and coming off a 40-33 loss to the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Their playoff odds at the time sat at just 3%. This was according to 538's prediction model. Following victories over the Bears, Rams, and Dolphins, the Packers' odds are back up to 27%. These odds are tied with the Commanders, Lions, and Seahawks, the 3 teams the Packers are currently competing with for the NFC's final number 7 seed. What's going on, everyone? Luca here, back with another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about the surging Green Bay Packers and what they need to do to get into the playoffs and how dangerous of a team they can be if they in fact get there. If you guys can hit a like on the video, it does help the algorithm a ton. And please subscribe to the channel for more football content just like this. We're trying to hit 3K subs, so your support is greatly appreciated. Almost everything has gone right for the Packers during this 3-game winning streak. The Packers have taken care of their own business by winning their games, and many of the other NFC wildcard contenders have struggled mightily over the last 4 weeks, which has opened this door now for the Packers. The Giants are currently the 6th seed and will probably end up making the playoffs. Washington went 0-1-1 with a bye mixed in. Seattle has completely fallen off the wagon. They've gone 1-5 over their last 6. And the Lions were actually on fire. This was a team that I thought was ultimately going to get in, but they suffered a brutal loss to the Panthers on Sunday, which brought them back to reality. So the Packers will need good fortune to continue for them because they ultimately do need some outside help to get in. But first, what the Packers need to do is they must win their final 2 games. Home games against the Vikings and the Lions. If the Packers drop one of these contests, they'll virtually be eliminated from the playoffs. Now, assuming the Packers win out, and I do think they win out, I think they're favored right now against the Vikings. Green Bay will need the Giants to lose both of their final 2 games, or the Commanders to lose one of their final 2 games. The Giants close out the season against the Colts and the Eagles. Meanwhile, the Commanders will finish up the season against the Browns and the Cowboys. So given how the Packers season looked just a few weeks ago, I mean, if you're a Packers fan, you'll take this scenario going into the final 2 weeks of the NFL season. Okay, so let's assume everything goes right for the Green Bay Packers, as it has so far, and the Packers do in fact get into the playoffs. This is a team that can be a dangerous playoff team in the NFC. I mean, who the hell would want to see Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in a playoff game? This current Packers winning streak has not been a fluke either. Right now, the Packers are playing their best football of the season. Over the last 5 weeks, the Packers rank 4th in overall defense adjusted value over average. This is behind only the 49ers, who are killing it right now, the Bills, who are also on a massive winning streak, and of course the number 1 seed, Philadelphia Eagles. The Packers offense has been humming as well. They look like the Green Bay offense we expected to see. Over the last 7 weeks, ranked 6th in expected points added per play on offense, which suggests the offense has returned to normal. Over the past 5 weeks, the Packers have averaged 27.8 points per game, despite Rodgers having 4 interceptions and an 85 passer rating during that stretch. Running backs Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have been solid. The receiving corps are healthy, and the offensive line looks good. Going back to the defense, it has produced 12 takeaways since week 10. Also, it's worth mentioning that over the last 7 weeks, the Packers took down the Cowboys in overtime, which looking back now ended up being a huge win. They went blow for blow with the Eagles, had a chance to win that game, and they just stunned Miami on Christmas. These are some really good football teams, and all these teams might end up making the playoffs. So the Packers didn't just beat up on poor competition. They played some very good teams, and I mean, the Cowboys and the Eagles are set to be Super Bowl contenders by some people, although I wouldn't agree with that statement. Looking at the Packers right now, nothing is obviously guaranteed, and the Packers still have a lot of work to do. I mean, they need to win these next 2 games. They got to win out. There's no room for error. So they got to secure wins over the Vikings and the Lions, who are 2 solid football teams. But if the Packers take care of business and they win out, extending their winning streak to 5 games, and they get a little bit of outside help, this is a team that can be a problem come playoff time. the Packers appear to be playing its best football at the right time. And even as the 7th seed, the Packers would be a scary team entering the NFC playoffs. I mean, could you imagine being a top seed and you think, okay, the first round's going to be easy. And then all of a sudden you have Aaron Rodgers and the surging Packers team coming to play you. Aaron Rodgers, a guy who knows how to win big games. And I want to make this point about if the Packers do get in. And I know I'm kind of looking ahead here, but it's worth mentioning. You look at the Packers' shortcomings, right? They happened when the Packers were heavy favorites, when the Packers were a 1 seed, a 2 seed. If the Packers get into the dance, they're going to be the last seed in the NFC. Now, remember when the Packers won the Super Bowl? They were the 6th seed that year. So what I'm getting at is Aaron Rodgers seems to play his best football when everybody's writing him off and he's not expected to win. This is one of those scenarios where Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are not expected to win. I mean, people had this team dead, gave this team no chance of even making the playoffs. So if this team gets in, history could repeat itself. That's all I'm going to say. And we could see the Packers maybe go on another improbable Super Bowl run, because Aaron Rodgers is one man that as soon as you write him off and as soon as you bet against him, he usually makes you pay. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But again, I'll have more crazy takes on the Packers if they actually get into the playoffs. But look, I do believe the Packers are going to win out. I do. I think they will beat the Vikings and then they will beat the Lions. It's just going to come down to if the football gods are on the Packers side and if they are going to get that help that is not controlled by the Packers. I don't think the Giants are going to lose their last 2 games. The likelier scenario is that the Commanders drop one of its next 2. They got the Browns and the Cowboys. Now, that last game of the season for the Cowboys might not mean anything. So if you're a Packers fan, you're really hoping that the Browns show up in a big way and beat the Commanders, because I do not think the Cowboys would play spoiler in that final week, especially, knowing that it could eliminate Green Bay. So yeah, if you're a Packers fan, obviously, you got to be feeling good about winning out, especially since how this team's been playing. But you're definitely going to keep a close eye on the Commanders this week, because I think if the Commanders do drop a game, it will be this week against the Cleveland Browns. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of crazy scenarios taking place. There's going to be a lot of excitement over the next couple of days, over the next couple of weeks. But first and foremost, the Packers need to win, and they got to beat their division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, which I think they will. So we'll see how this take ages, but that is it for me, guys. The Green Bay Packers, they are playing well right now. They need a little bit of luck to get in, and if this team gets in, watch out. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Again, drop a like on the video. It helps it a ton. Please subscribe to the channel for more NFL and Packers content. And that is it for me. This is Luca signing off. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.